Hello and welcome to this video about the NAD M5 SACD player. I in fact have two of these. This one, which I fixed a couple of years ago, and on there that was still faulty. I bought them because I bought first one because people were saying how good it sounds, and it was of course faulty. And then the other one came up cheap, so I bought it as well. And I didn't advertise the first one because I wanted to keep it, for comparison. So I pulled it out in the new year, 2026, and of course this one, after sitting 2.5 years on the shelf, worked, but rather erratically, not really good enough. So I started fixing it, and I've replaced some capacitors, as you see in here on the servo board, and I brought it to life. So I had one going again, but by no means it's finished, because there are some capacitors on the power supply board and output board that also, the ones with black dots, there's another half a dozen to be replaced. And it has also another strange fault. If I go to on CDs, it's sometimes stops and starts, but SACDs plays continuously, as you see. But if I switch it to text, it just goes and freezes, as if the first in first out buffer was wrong with that. So that possibly is a thing with the power supply, which also incidentally is a problem with the other one, because it whistles. But anyway, this is not really a subject of this, because I think I've talked about it before. So having sort of fixed one, I said I'll start on the other one. And of course you have to start somewhere. So I said, well, let's check the mechanism. So I transferred the mechanism and to this one. In fact, the original mechanism from this unit we're looking at is right here. And this is the mechanism from the other one. So I replaced the laser head. Laser heads come as just heads in little boxes like that, and they look like so. But you can buy sort of a long mechanism assembly with the motor and the second motor, one for the head, one for the turntable. So I put that one in, and it was worse than the one that was there. This is a brand new, and I've started really writing on boxes these days where I get the laser head from, so I can return it, if it's not good, because some of them are sitting there for a couple of years before it's their turn. So I no longer remember. I could sort of try to look. But anyway, firstly, it wouldn't spin properly, and I found, just dropped it now, that the turntable had cracks around the spindle, and it was pushed in too hard, and it was rubbing. So I pulled it up a bit, but it just wasn't happening. So I grabbed the turntable from this mechanism, which was originally there, and I thought, yep, I have a winner. Not so. I found, when I had it around, that you see, there's a limit switches here under my thumb. You see, that limit switch was 240 ohms. So I cleaned it up. That was the second fault. So I put it in. It sort of started reading table of contents, and I said no disk. And I took the bridge off and started looking and stuff, and I realized that the head wasn't traveling up and down. It just wasn't. So obviously, even if the head is in correct position to start with, it's not going to work. It's not going to, advance. So when I put my meter and I put power supply, I could make the head travel up and down, but not in a player. So then I had to re-terminate wires on it, and now it started working. So you can see what poor soldering it is there, very amateurish. So the lasers we are buying now are either rejects from 15 or 20 years ago, and in cases of CD players or 25 years ago, or some stuff made up now. But what's interesting that they can make a laser head, which is much more complicated, you know, to align everything so the light travels properly and focuses. But they just cannot solder a few wires properly. And, you know, a simple assembly like putting in a turntable is screwed up. So in a brand new laser assembly, I had 3 faults. You know, so don't think when you next get a build that it's all fun and games. I mean, this is like spare parts we get now. But anyway, enough of my waffling. Bye-bye.